Well, let me explain something. When I go through my warm-up routine for a tournament, let's say this week at the American Express Championship, I will start off with my sand wedge, then I'll progress to my 8-iron, my 4-iron, 3-wood driver, then I'll go back to my 8-iron, hit a couple 60s, and then I will hit whatever I'm going to hit on the first tee. Whether it's a 2-iron, 3-wood, or driver, whatever it is, I'll try and rehearse what I'm going to do on the first tee. And if from all the way to the point where I'm pulling the club out of the bag, go through my whole routine, if I hit a poor shot, I do it again. So when I get to the first tee, I can always say to myself, well, I just did it about 15 minutes ago. I know I can go ahead and hit this shot right down the pipe. I got my 8-iron here after I hit a couple sand wedges. My 8-iron, I normally hit about 158 yards.
Now, you say normally. Does that mean you're swinging 100%
No,
at your 8-iron to get it 158?
No, my irons, I generally swing at about 80%, most of my clubs. And then occasionally I'll either crank it up or crank it down, depending on the shot. But this is being in the wind. You know, just a normal 8-iron should go maybe 151, 150, somewhere around there.
I believe what makes Tiger so good is just his trust in himself. You know, we all know he's a great player, but he just has trust and belief in himself. He practices hard, and when he gets to any kind of difficult shot or any shot, he just trusts himself, and he has a complete 100% trust in his ability.
Back in '97, I made a concerted effort after I'd watched my swing at Augusta. Even though I'd played well, I didn't like the way it really looked. It was a kind of cross-the-line shot, and I was swinging all out in order to try and keep up with the club and get it square. So I decided to work on my swing, dial it back, and really gain some control over my game, because day in and day out, I didn't really have a whole lot of control, honestly.
Tiger is a very anal person who likes to be in control, and if he doesn't feel he's in control, I think that makes him antsy. And so when he decided to change his swing, I think he took it upon himself. It was a big challenge for him to prove to himself and to others that he could take it to the next level, to a higher level, and I think the results speak for themselves.
I'll go back to my old swing for you. I'll show you the difference. That right there is the reason why I couldn't really control a golf shot. I mean, I could hit it over here, I could hit it over there, and I couldn't be precise. And I watched a lot of the guys on tour play, and I found that everyone had perfect distance control. And my buddy, Mark O'Meara, I've played with so many rounds of golf, and he just always seemed to be around pin high. And he said, the key to golf is always being pin high. If you're a pin high on each and every shot, you're not going to be too far off. And I took that to heart, and I've tried to work on that. And even to this day, when I'm swinging well, I'll be walking on the green. I'll tell Stevie, hey, pin high, baby. So that's one of my big things, is always trying to hit that number that I'm always trying to hit, whatever it may be. You saw my natural shot is primarily a little draw. When I'm swinging well, it's about a 1 or 2 yard draw. I'll hit a nice little hook for you. I'll start the ball with his people here on the right.
The media?
Hey, I'm a trained pro.
Hey, don't aim for the media.
Not for them. Why not? All right. I'll start the ball at this big tree over here, right of the Jumbotron, and I'll hook it over to the 150-yard sign with an 8-iron. It's very simple. All you have to do is just close the club face, hit as hard as you can, and really release the heck out of it.
He can hit one shot at a time to the best of his ability more often than anybody else on the planet. And there might be other guys that get the ball farther than him or straighter him and maybe even have more shots than he has. But he hits every shot to the best of his ability more often than everyone else. And that results in lower scores and a lot of trophies.
What I found with hitting long irons, the biggest thing that I'm always focusing on is making solid club contact. And it may sound simple, it may sound kind of repetitive, you may hear it from a lot of different people, but what I've found is if I can hit the ball solid with a long iron, it'll go the right distance. It'll bore through the wind. And a lot of times when I'm swinging poorly, I'll get away from mechanics and I'll just focus on just hit the ball solid for a while. Just go ahead and just make solid club contact and we'll just kind of figure it out from there. My forehand usually goes about 212 yards. As you can see, most of my shots here are drawing. If I want to hit a fade, one of the things that I will do is that in order to hit a draw or fade, I'll try and keep it very simple. I'll try and keep the club face point at the target and line up my body to wherever I want the ball to start out at and swing my body along, swing my club along that path and let the club head do the work for me. So let's say if I want to hit a fade, I'll line up on the 200 with my face, line up left with my body, let's say at the Jumbotron. I know. And then swing along my body line, let the club face cut the ball for me. Now, if I want to hit one low, hit a nice little flat ball out there, what I'll do is I'll put the ball back in my stance more towards my right foot. I'll scoot in a little bit closer to the ball. That allows me to feel as if I'm more on top of the ball and I can cover it more with my right shoulder, kind of squeeze it and hit it flat. What I also try and do is try and feel the emblem on my glove goes at the target as long as I can keep it going there. And because I have a neutral grip, it's very simple to do, because if you have a strong grip, it'd be very difficult. If you try and get the emblem or your glove going at the target, you hit it straight left. And if you had a weak grip, you hit it right. It's one of the benefits of having a neutral grip. So I'll put it back in my stance, stand a little closer to the ball. Try and get the emblem of my glove going right at the target as long as possible. This game is always evolving. Our court, our field of play, it always changes, and it changes every day. One day it may be dry, one day it may be soft and because it rained, or it might have a little dew on the ground, windy. All these different variables happen, and you have to adjust. You have to be so adaptable at any moment, because it can change, and your game plan changes too. You got to be flexible in your game plan, and your mental strategy evolves as the day goes along.
What kind of advice for bunker shots with an iron would you give players as amateurs try to improve their game?
Well, I think it's very important to stay level. And as you dig in the bunker, try and get your stance more set, what you find is that you're obviously going to be a little bit lower than you normally are. And obviously I choke down because of that. I take one more club. And what I really try and feel on each and every fairway bunker shot, I really try and feel as if my chin never goes down on my downswing. I have a tendency to kind of squat. It's just one of my tendencies, one of my things that I fight. So I try and feel as if I stay tall throughout the entire shot, where I can go ahead and pick it right out of the sand with as little grain as possible moving. As I dig in, I'll choke down. I'll really try and feel as if my chin stays tall, stays very high.
Bunker shots. Used to practice, hitting pitch shots 3 houses down from the home he grew up in Cypress, California. There was a park just down the street, and he would go over and and hit pitch shots over a jungle gym. Or his father would train him when he was a young boy, still under the age of 10, to hit wedge shots, flop shots over his father. Fearless, Earl Woods, fearlessly, Earl Woods would stand there and teach his son to hit shots over him, looking right in his face.
I'll hit a high one here for you. A nice high 8-iron. If I want to hit one higher, well, first of all, I'll show you a normal 8-iron again. That's just my normal flight with an 8-iron. Now, if I want to hit one higher, what I do is I put the ball up in my stance, which is more towards my left toe, if not off my left toe. I drop my right foot back just a little bit, which puts my head further behind the ball. And I really try and feel as if the emblem on my glove, again, this time goes towards the sky. Points up towards the sky, not at the target, but up at the sky, which helped me get the ball in the air. There we go.
First time I saw him hit was just amazing. I mean, this guy can hit, first of all, any shot you want to hit. The way the ball comes off the face is extraordinary. I love to just watch him hit. I mean, I love the rhythm of his swing. Just, you know, seems like a picture-perfect shot every time.
He has that sense of enthusiasm and just an unbridled joy, especially when he plays well. You can see it, he gets such a buzz out of it. You can almost see the goose flesh stand up on the back of his neck and in his forearms. He lives for this stuff. He loves the game.
Tiger's got a phenomenal short game, and you know he's worked very hard on that. And you know he relies on what he has to rely on, and uses his backup to do what he has to do to win.
I have to say the routine is probably the most important thing in putting, or any golf shot, because you can kind of just focus on the routine and not necessarily the result. And my routine, as I said, a 36-degree walk around the hole. And as I step up into it, I've actually already got my ball lined up where I want it to start with the side stamp. I'll walk up to it. I'll take one look. I'll take 2 practice strokes, one. And as I start the downswing on the second practice stroke, I'll start looking up and get a feel of putting to the picture. I'll explain that in a little bit. Put the club behind the ball, one look, set my stance, 2 looks, and putt. There you go. My dad had a very creative way of explaining to a little child distance. You know, I see people step off putts. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's a 15-foot putt. I need a 15-foot stroke. I wouldn't have a clue what a 15-foot stroke is. But I do know this. My father taught me as a little boy, since he couldn't explain to a 3-year-old what the difference is, a mile or an inch, what he did was, every look I take from the ball is a picture. So I take the picture of that right there, one, and my second look, I take another picture, get up over the ball, I look, I take a last picture, and then all I do is think about is putting to the picture. And that really helps free up your mind. You don't have to worry about distance, because all I'm doing is putting to the picture. And I'm telling you what, down the stretch in tournaments, when I'm really nervous, it may not look like it, but I'm telling you what, I get pretty nervous out there. I will go back to that and I'll say, okay, come on, Tiger, just putt to the picture, just like Pop used to say.
There's some days, some weeks you're going to have, maybe your driving's your weakness, or some weeks your putter's your weakness, or sometimes your iron play's your weakness. You've got to rely on what you have to have.
The driver.
Yeah, what about it?
The one people always want to talk about.
I hit it short and straight, that's me.
Are guys really hitting it farther than you now?
Oh, yeah. I'm getting old.
Pretty much.
I'm not what I used to be.
Well, how do you manage just to push it around, old man, to content with these young guys.
No, but you know, the guys are working out now. The guys are getting stronger. All the young kids coming out now, you know, hit it a long ways, but they eventually start throttling back a little bit, but try and get more control. But a lot of the college kids hit it so much further than we do on tour. It's scary. They're all just pounding it, which, you know, I did, Davis Love did, Fred Couples did, we all did back in college, but on tour with the rough being as high and fairways narrower, you start throttling back to try and get the ball in play. So let me show you a nice normal drive here.
What is a nice normal drive?
That one, just like that.
I can't see that far. I'm getting old. All I can see is the platinum card at 250. I can't see beyond that. There are 300 out there somewhere?
My normal drive goes about
a little over 290, and just a little bit in the wind, so I'll be doing well to get it to that sign. Sorry, bug.
Tiger's swing has always been, is he comfortable on the follow through? And when he's comfortable on the follow through, when he's upright and, you know, looking at the target, whatever, that's when he's going to play well. That's when he's going to win by 8 or 12.
When you stop your swing, especially on the tee, whether it's a camera clicking or a noise or something else that distracts you?
Yeah. Well, it's just like baseball. It's a check swing.
Didn't like it, start again.
It's a little harder to stop, though.
Why?
Just a little more momentum going.
No.
The torque of your body up here?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Concept-wise, isn't it?
It is.
No, but I've always been able to do it, and I think that's from playing baseball. Sometimes it hurts. I stop it so late that it puts a lot of strain on my elbow and my shoulder. I'm stopping it so late and holding on so hard that sometimes it does hurt a little bit. Yeah, it's part of championship golf now, more so than ever before, are more distractions, because there are more people out there now. There are more cameras. You know, golf has become louder, and it's changed. It's evolved, and there are more distractions. So you have to understand that and accept that. Let me hit to a shot that I'll hit, you know, down a stretch in a tournament. If I'm trying to get a ball in play, I'll go to what I call like a little trap fade, a low fade. What I'll do is I'll scoot a little bit closer to the ball, maybe, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. And I will actually try and hit the ball. I will try and do this, hit the ball a little bit on the heel. I was always taught by my old pros from the old school, with the old persimmon drivers, hit the ball on the heel, it'll be a heel cut, it'll start out to the left and always cut back. And I've always tried to do that. Just get a little closer to the ball, put it on the heel, and just hit a nice little heel cut, a little low cut out there.
And you'll go to that, something to rely on.
Something to rely on, something to get the ball in play. It's going to be further than my 3-wood. Say if that's into the wind, and you know, long par 4, and I can't quite hit 3-wood, but I'm also uncomfortable on the hole, so I'll just go to that shot. It's not going to go as far as the ones I've been hitting, but it's going to be in play, and that's the name of the game. Now, if I want to bomb one, hit a little bit further, what I'll do is I'll tee the ball up a little higher, just a touch, and what I'll try and do is obviously I'll speed up my swing. Those swings that you saw right there are about 80%, and I'll crank it up to about 90%, maybe even 95 at times, depends on how comfortable I feel that day. What I'll do is I'll put my head further behind the ball. Now, I don't mean by putting my head behind the ball like this, okay? What I'll do is I'll take my right foot and drop it back an inch down the target line, which naturally puts my head back that much more, which allows me a little bit more time to release the club more full and get more distance out of it. Something like this.
I think makes Tiger the best player in the world is his ability to stay in the present. He has this ability to hit one shot at a time with no future or no past, like I've never seen anybody do that. He can be distracted, but when it comes time to hit his next shot, he's 100% into that shot. And I really think that's what makes the difference.
Well, I just take great pride in what I do. That's all. And I guess because I take great pride in what I do, I'm going to give it everything I got. In order for me to give it everything I have to block everything out and then get into my own little world in order to do that. And that's what I have found to be successful for me. People thought this was computer generated. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. And all it stems from, it's back when I used to grow up at Hartwell Golf Park, is it really got bored. And we also used to always play hacky sack and do other things. I always try to get to 1,000 bounces. Well, your right arm really gets sore. So I learned to go lefty just for a little while. Try and give my righty a break. There we go.
That better?
You can't play the perfect game in golf. What you can do is you can beat it to a certain extent. My dad always said that par is a playing field. It's what par is, 72, 71, 70, whatever par may be on that particular course. Well, anything under par is you beat the golf course.